Good morning, everyone. Virgo here again. It is December 2nd, 2019. Pay attention to the little slideshow that's going on in front of you. Some of you might remember this from back in August of 2017. The Detroit Free Press put this out, warning people about the YouTube video scams where there were people that were stating that you could pay your bills with your Social Security number. Now, the interesting thing about this particular Detroit Free Press article is that they mention a very specific individual's channel. And that is who we are going to be talking about in just a moment here. And I'm going to be going over this little article with you just to kind of jolt your memory of just one of the facets of the scams of this particular channel. Here we go into the actual news article. Here's some sorry news this summer. There's no secret cash stash out there to pay your utility bills or your old outstanding debts with the state. Consumers are getting swept into some scams across the country that promise a way to use special bank routing numbers, supposedly from the U.S. government, to cover their bills. In some cases, they're watching a YouTube video published by MoneyBoy Films with a Z. You guys may remember that I did several videos on a MoneyBoy Films and a MoneyBoy Films Midwest back at the beginning of 2018, where I exposed the fact that they were working with Harvey Dent and several other channels with regards to this particular Social Security number and routing number scam of the secret squirrel account. In addition to that, MoneyBoy Films was actually had to be called into the police because of a threat that was made on a particular video against the Virgo Triad channel and myself. We're going to be taking a look at some of the past of MoneyBoy Films, but before we do that, I want to talk to you about what MoneyBoy Films is doing right now. Here we go. Okay, so we have MoneyBoy Films, who is back at it again. And as you can see, the last few videos have been all about how to access your Social Security number account. And of course, they're leaving the term TDA account out. They're leaving the Federal Reserve routing number information off of their titles in the hopes that they don't get found out that they're trying to scam people again. Now, MoneyBoy Films, the main MoneyBoy Films rather, is not actually the only one who's in on this. His sidekick, which was the same person he worked with in the past, is actually in on it too. They call him Midwest. We're going to be taking a look at that person in addition, but before we do that, let me go over a few things from the past that we experienced with MoneyBoy Films back in 2017 and 2018. When I first reported on MoneyBoy Films back in January of 2018, and I started warning people about the fact that there were several things that these guys were doing that were not only scamming others with regards to this secret squirrel account nonsense, but in addition to that, they were trying to make a formula of some sort of juice and selling it in mason jars for $25 each without a health license from the state that MoneyBoy Films Midwest at the time, was in. They were also selling a great number of t-shirts and hoodies and all kinds of different banners and things, and taking large donations for paperwork. Now, there were a lot of claims that donations don't count the way that April LaJune was selling the packages, but in my book, they do. Because when you're feeding people a handful of bullshit, expect that what you get out of it in terms of donations are actually being solicited illegally. In addition, you're not providing any relative or positive content that's assisting anyone. All right, so in this particular video, which is so eloquently named Get the F Out of Here, We Want Our Check, you will be able to actually locate this playlist on Scam Stingers. On the home page, there's an entire playlist of the Money Boy Films fraud. And this gives you a good indication of just exactly all of the things, including some felony counts that are on this individual that are discussed in a couple of those videos. In addition, you'll be able to see everything that was done in the past as far as this group is concerned. Now, at one point, they had a large grouping of individuals. As you can see, this particular person has a subscribership of 14K, and although Midwest does not have a subscribership that's anywhere near that, it's barely at 1,000, they had many other channels. So there was a Money Boy Films West, there was a Money Boy Films East, there was all kinds of different Money Boy films that were out there that were selling all of these different things and taking donations. They even had a falling out at one point that some of you guys might remember. But this particular video is all about making threats. I ended up having to contact the police because I don't take threats lightly. They're not tolerated against the channel or against me, and so I ended up having to contact the police. Now, in addition to this particular video, there was an actual an actual rap song that was put up that was all about taking out someone who was trying to stand in their way. And as a matter of fact, some of you might remember that Talisman had this individual up on their wall of shame for a while because of that very rap video. Now, I want to mention, to be fair, that Money Boy Red actually is a decent rapper. When he actually puts his mind and heart to it, he's a decent rapper. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing here. I've even attempted to ask him, and basically all I got was an email, once again, threatening and claiming that I had no idea what I was talking about. The truth is, of course, we all know the secret squirrel accounts don't exist. We've been warned by everyone about attempting to try to do some of these illegal things. It's bond fraud, it is bank fraud, it is wire fraud, it is mail fraud. One of the things that these guys never really realized when they were doing this is sending out this documentation to people, whether you're charging $1 or $1,000, it's actually something that's considered mail fraud, because what you are proposing is not real, it doesn't exist, and it really is all about gathering as much of that quote-unquote fiat money they claim to despise. But that really is what it's actually all about for them. Moving on, as you can see from the Scam Stingers playlist, you will find that there are several of these videos, all of them that were actually done by me. Let me move you over here. I'm going to link this playlist to the description of this video because I think it's important that you actually watch them. Number one, Midwest EDU. They're calling themselves educators now. There's actually even a channel that is dedicated to education, according to Money Boy Films, called Money Boy Films University, which in reality is kind of hilarious because Mr. Swindle Hoodwinked actually made up YouTube University in lieu of this whole scenario. But regardless, it was taken by Money Boy Films, turned out to be Money Boy Films University, and has been up for a couple of years, and is still up, and is now just recently, over the last month, had a couple of videos put on it where it hadn't had anything put on it for over a year. They are clearly gearing up. Midwest is right there with him. They're putting up videos on a daily basis talking about secret squirrel accounts and how to free yourself from supposed slavery, which does not exist in any way. And in addition to this, they are actually pushing the same narrative that they were pushing back in the summer of 2017 through the beginning of 2018. Just disgusting. Clearly students of Mr. Dent, who has already had several people put in jail or in prison, as we can say, Heather Antucci and Randall Keith Bean, Marvin Miller, all over his crazy claims about these Social Security number supposed accounts, secret squirrel accounts. Okay, so on this playlist for you guys to take a look at, the scammer, MoneyBoy Films, exposed by Public Service Channel, is actually a very good video about what the entire scam is about, how they started, and what they went into doing with regards to this particular TDA or secret account scam. It also goes into detailed information with regards to the party who runs the original MoneyBoy Films and his history and background in terms of felonies, criminal history, we'll say. All right, next, the next video is about MoneyBoy Films Midwest. Now, the funny thing about this is Midwest is like the sidekick to MoneyBoy Films. And he's the main sidekick. But not only is he like somebody who was pushing the same narrative, he also came up with a whole nother scam out of this, and that was called the Amazing Juice. And if you guys actually take a look at the urgent PSA, beware MIB, or M money sign B, rather, not MIB. Yeah, Men in Black. That's called Amazing Juice, you will laugh your ass off, because what he is doing is he is showing literally on film, which they have since then taken this down, but he's literally showing on video that he's using his own dirty stove with a dirty pot, cooking up all kinds of like garlic and oranges and peaches and stuff, and then selling this crap in actual mason jars wrapped with packing tape around the lid. They're not even like hermetically sealed. They're not, not like normal somebody who's making jelly and like, boils it to make sure they seal and everything. None of that. Just a piece of packaging tape around the lid of it. It's absolutely asinine and ridiculous. Later on, as the argument continues, and all the threats are made, the police are called, everything else, I go on to show that these gentlemen have absolutely no right to be making and selling this juice at, by the way, at the time was $25 per pint jar. And the reason that they had no right was because they didn't have a health department license, but in addition to that, they didn't even have a business license. And of course, MoneyBoy Films comes back and claims, oh, yes, I do. I have this. I'm incorporated here and everything else. Come to find out, it has nothing to do with this particular Amazing Juice or anything else. It is a company that is actually belonging to a spouse or a girlfriend, and it was inactive at the time, so it didn't even make a difference because they hadn't paid their fees to keep up, or they hadn't filed their quarterlies or whatever in order to even keep the articles of incorporation current and in good standing. So then we have that video. We have MoneyBoy Films Midwest Take 2, which goes into a bunch more detail with regards to the scams. And of course, there's more and more up here. And you can see that there is this video here, which you can read it for yourselves. Keep my name out your mouth. Yeah. Just really, this is a really threatening video. This is the one that Talisman put up and said, hey, this guy's actually making real physical threats. And it's very obvious that he is upset with those of us that are speaking out with regards to his crazy claims. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this because they're back again. Midwest is now called MWEDU, and I will put the link in the description for you. Also, MoneyBoy Films and MoneyBoy Films University. They are now starting to acquire more subscribers again, and starting to acquire more views. When they were down in the 80s and the 90s and the 150s, I really didn't care and I really didn't say much. But now we're at the point again where this could become damaging to people, and as a result, I need to call it out. So, sorry about that, guys, but you didn't get this one past me either. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description for the actual Scam Stingers MoneyBoy Films playlist, because I think it's important that those of you who are looking at possibly following these jokers need to really pay attention to these videos, because there are many, many people that have been victims of this particular scam, the one having to do with social security numbers and secret squirrel accounts, that have ended up going to jail since then, simply because of the fact that they followed these people who claim to know everything and in reality know nothing. And honestly, they really don't care to do real research. When they're doing research, they will pull things out of their hat that will possibly fool a few people, but in reality, they're actually not providing any valid information whatsoever. The truth is, secret squirrel accounts do not exist. They've been researched to death over the last 3.5 years, and they are illogical. For any one of you, by the way, Money Boy or Midwest, if you think you can prove that any of these birth certificates are monetized, or your social security card is monetized, or whatever, why don't you provide me with that ticker symbol for the trading on the stock market from, all the different world powers that you claim, and I'll be more than happy to retract. Until then, everybody take a look at these videos in this playlist and watch out, because there are people out there that will take your money, and before you know it, you're in trouble. Also, keep in mind that the form of taking money is not always straight up asking for money the way that April LaJune does. Sometimes it's just about collecting a lot of donations because they make you believe they're doing research that they're not really doing. Selling products that are just garbage. Mostly just telling you lies that you think you want to hear. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great day, and there will be another one up tomorrow with, yet again, another party who, of course, is coming back to making the same old claims as they did in the summer of 2017. Everybody have a wonderful one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.